As a childcare provider, it's super easy to get consumed with taking care of everybody else that you lose sight of yourself. And that can lead to burnout, to not being the best provider you can be, and it's something we all want to avoid. So today I'm here to talk about self-care ideas as a childcare provider. Hey guys, Sarah here from Work Life Glue, where we glue work and life together one piece at a time. And today I'm going to be talking about one piece of our life, which is daycare. Every Friday I do a daycare day video where I talk about something daycare related, and I've had a few requests for self-care ideas as a childcare provider, and I think this is a super important topic because, like I said, we're taking care of others all day. We're running a business, we have so much to do, so little time, and it's easy to just forget about taking care of ourselves because there's not enough time, and that can lead to so many problems, and it's very important that we take care of ourselves in the process. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So the first question is, why is self-care so important, especially in a field where we're caring for others all the time? Well, first of all, we find it very important to care for others well, and in order to do that, we need to make sure our cup is full. Like they say, you need to put on your mask before you can go help somebody else put their mask on in the airplane. You need to fill your cup before you can fill others' cup. If your cup is empty, what do you have to give? So you need to make sure you're taking care of yourself so you can be a good provider to the kids. Also, nobody is a good provider if they quit. So it's important to avoid burnout, and so much of burnout can happen if you don't take care of yourself. This is a very demanding job. There's all kinds of reasons people don't go into childcare, and I have a whole video on the drawbacks of it, which I will link below. But if you want to stay in this business and your heart is in it, then you need to make sure you prevent yourself from burning out. And that is crucial to having self-care. And if you don't take care of yourself, you will eventually burn out. And lastly, as a member of a family, most of us have families. That's why we do this job. Even if you don't have kids, but you have a spouse, it's just really important that you're being good to your family as well. And if you're constantly burnt out, stressed, and you're not taking care of yourself like you should be, then you're not giving to the people who matter the most in your life. And what is the point of this job if we leave our family in the dust and we're not treating them well? So in order to treat them well, we need to treat ourselves well also. Okay, so before I even get into the self-care tips, I think it's important that we first analyze some other areas, because chances are if you're feeling stressed or burnt out, there may be some other things you need to take care of before you even think about self-care. So first of all, look at your hours. If you are working 12 plus hours every single day, maybe that's too much. Maybe all the self-care in the world isn't going to help your problem because you're just overworking yourself. So take a look at that. See if there's something you can adjust there. Also, look at how often you close. I think it's super important, at least for me, to be closed at least one day a month, because I look forward to that day. I use that day for appointments, and I use it to spend time with my family or to just do self-care stuff on my own. And I can't really fit all that in every weekend. If I was never closed, it would be really hard for me. Personally, some of us can do better with fewer days, but I just know I need those days to be a good provider, and my families understand that. Also, look at your rates. They talk about finances being like a huge source of strain in marriage. It can also be just a huge source of strain personally. So maybe your rates aren't high enough to justify all of the stuff you do, and so maybe it's making you feel stressed and burnt out because you don't feel like you're charging what you're worth. That may be an area to look into. I couldn't talk about stress and burnout without talking about analyzing the families in your care. Is there a child who you just aren't connecting with, who's draining you every day and you've tried everything? Is there a family who's taking advantage of you, who's not paying you on time, who's disrespecting you, who's coming early and staying late, and you just can't find a way to fix it? Maybe that is the cause, and all the self-care in the world is not going to fix it. Maybe you need to terminate care or sit down and talk with the family if they're causing you a lot of extra stress. Also, it's important to look at, what do you put on your plate during the daycare day? I know sometimes when life is really busy, I just need to kind of step back, maybe not do preschool as much, maybe not walk to the park as much. For example, when I was 9 months pregnant, I stopped walking to the park a couple times a week because it was just really hard on my body. So things like that can really cause extra stress if you're overdoing it during the day. So maybe during certain periods you need to adjust the things you do with families. Maybe not do so many crafts. Maybe don't go above and beyond for certain holidays and stuff like that if it's just adding too much to your plate during certain times. And lastly, look at how much you're taking home. And now if you're an in-home childcare provider, obviously you're already home no matter what, but I really work to try not to bring stuff home at the end of the day. So when I am done at 5 p.m., I try to just be done. Now that's very hard, but I don't do things like preparing crafts, preparing curriculum. I try not to do too much cleaning at the end of the day. I try to work stuff into my day where I'm still providing amazing care for the kids, but I build in routines so that at the end of the day, I'm not having to do all that stuff later on. And that can even be just signing up for a pre-made curriculum. That's what I do. I do Funshine Express, so I never have to be cutting out things for crafts or on Pinterest at the end of the day. It's already done for me, and yes, I pay for that, but I also don't have to pay for it with my time, which is super important. So if you've looked at all those areas and you still feel like you just need more self-care in your life, let's talk about some ideas related to that. So one of the biggest reasons why we don't participate in self-care is because we feel like we have a lack of time. So I could give you all the ideas in the world of things you could do for self-care. You could take baths, you could do this, you could paint your nails, you could go do this. But that's not gonna help you if you feel like you don't have the time to do it. So what I suggest is devoting one nap time per week while the kids are napping to do something for yourself. Now it doesn't have to be the whole nap time, but maybe you spend 20 minutes reading a book. Maybe you watch your favorite YouTube videos during that time. Maybe you turn on Ellen or whatever it is on TV that you love to watch. Maybe you paint your nails. Maybe you have an in-home pedicure system you could do. Maybe you make yourself a brownie. Whatever it is that you love to do, set aside a time during a nap when the kids are all down for you to just sit and take care of yourself in some way. I think it's super easy because you already have nap time as part of your day, and you could just neglect some of your tasks and fit them in somewhere else so that you can take care of yourself, because that's important too. Another thing that I think is an easy way to fit in self-care is to get up before the rest of your family. Now I get my daughters up at 6:20. I personally get up around 4:40 to 5, and I spend from 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. on myself in some way. I do a miracle morning. I have a whole video on that, and sometimes I get stuff done, but this would also be a great opportunity to just have self-care every single morning. Part of my self-care is coffee with frothed milk, so I do that when I wake up every morning, and just having it as part of my routine means that I'm actually doing it all the time. I don't have to try to fit it in because it's already part of my schedule, and I don't even have to think about it. I'm already treating myself well every single day as part of my routine. Another idea for fitting it in is to have one me night per week. So maybe if your spouse works late or goes to bowling or whatever, or you're a single mom, once you get your kids down, or maybe even have somebody babysit them, once they're down or somebody's watching them, you can sit down and watch your favorite show. You can paint your nails, you could take a bath with a book or your favorite music and throw a bath bomb in there. Whatever it is that makes you feel good, do it then, and set aside a night every single week. Maybe it's Thursday night and you try to do it that night every week, so it's part of your routine, something you can look forward to, and you can plan those things you want to do on those nights. Another idea, if you have it in your area, is to hire a substitute for a morning once a month or so and go do something for yourself. Maybe go to a movie, go hang out with your kids if that feels like self-care to you, and do something special with them. Go on a little mini date with your spouse. Go get a manicure or a pedicure. Go do something you've been wanting to do for a long time. Go to a store. It may be really hard to hire a sub for that, but if it means you're going to be a better provider, I say do it. And you can still plan things for the sub to do with the kids, but it's just getting you a way to get out of the house, because as providers we are stuck in one place a lot, and it's nice to get out once in a while. And if you don't have subs, maybe you open late once a month or once quarterly or something like that, or you close and you go do that. There's so many ways to fit it in. It may feel hard to do it, but if it means you're not going to be stressed out, I encourage you to do so. And then just some other ideas to fit it in and give yourself time is to maybe sign up for like an exercise class that you have to do once a week or so. And you make yourself get out of the house or maybe it's a church group or like a knitting group or something at the library, or like a mom and kid thing where the kids go and do an activity and the moms can all have a cup of coffee and talk. Anything like that that you have to do on a certain day. It may feel like you don't have time to fit it in, but if you start doing it the same time every week or every other week or so, it feels like you have time again because you're restructuring your days to do the things you have to do on other days because you know that's a priority. And then lastly, just come up with some kind of hobby you can do. For me, I love YouTube. That's one of my self-care things. I love editing. I love filming. It fills up my cup to connect with other people, and I just love it. So it's something that I started doing, and it gives me something to do other than daycare, even though I'm off to talking about daycare, but it gives me something else that I put as part of my day, part of my week, part of my life that I'm doing that I just like to do, and I do it for me. If you can come up with something like that and try to fit it into your day, maybe it's even something you can do with your family, but it's something that you like to do, cooking, knitting, crafting. There's so many different things you can do that won't take away a lot of your time, or you can fit into your day that will fill up your cup and help you to be a better provider and take care of yourself. So those are my ideas for self-care and fitting it in as a provider. I would love to know what your favorite thing to do is for self-care. If you had all the time in the world on a certain day, what would you love to do? And how can you do that this month or in the upcoming weeks? What can you do to fit that in? I encourage you to try it out and let me know if you do. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.